The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has taken a lot of players by storm, and for good reason. It's a solid and awesome Zelda game. Despite that though, even the biggest fans still have some complaints. We scoured the internet and even looked deep inside ourselves to find the things that bother us about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild the most. Think of this less as whining about a game and more as just airing out some grievances in a game we already pretty much love. With that, let's get started off with number 10. Something that we've seen driven a lot of people crazy, and I can definitely attest to this one, is those damn gyroscope puzzles. You know, things are going great, you're doing shrines, knocking them out left and right, figuring out puzzles, feeling pretty smart, and then like many people, you probably encounter that first shrine that uses the gyroscope of the Switch or the Wii U gamepad, where you have to get that ball through that maze, and it is the most aggravating thing in the world. Yes, it has to do with skill, and it's probably more of a get-good situation, but for some reason, just the sensing and the design of the accelerometer and the gyroscope, it just doesn't feel right, and it's awkward, and you can't make it do anything you want it to do, and it makes you flip out. The amount of people I've seen post on Facebook or Twitter that says, hey, I love Zelda Breath of the Wild, but those gyroscope puzzles can go kill themselves. It's a real thing, and it's a real issue, but I will say what makes it feel so much sweeter is finally outsmarting it and figuring out that you can just flip the controller completely over and then just use the flat side of the puzzle. That's a good aha moment, and it makes you feel real good, so you can stick it to these annoying puzzles. And at number 9, something that a lot of players hate, it's rain. Yep, of course. You probably assumed, but rain is incredibly annoying in a game where there's so much focus around climbing around things, and when it rains, you can't really climb. This is an annoyance not just because of the mechanic itself, because if you think about it, it's a nice way to really balance things out, to really give you some sort of limiting factor to your climbing ability. But what makes it really damn frustrating is when for some reason it feels like anytime you need to go somewhere or climb somewhere, it rains all the goddamn time. Then when you find yourself with no mountains to climb and open fields to roam, it's never raining. It almost just feels like anytime you need to do something involving climbing, it starts to rain. But I will say the thing that makes up for this one is when you're in an area where it's always raining and you figure out how to get up onto a cliff or to where you need to go anyway. While the rain is really annoying and stupid, learning to work around it makes you feel like a better player. And at number 8, something that I know a lot of players hate, but again, this is more of a get-good type of thing. It's being one-shotted. You get one-shotted in this game a lot. And surprisingly enough, and what makes it 10 times worse, is that usually it's not a boss. Bosses can do some pretty nasty damage to you, but they don't always one-shot you. However, a random shitty scrub enemy out in the overworld can knock you with one arrow to the back and make you look like an idiot. We're totally all for difficult and near impossible games. You know, we're huge fans of Dark Souls here. But when it's not really telegraphed as well which enemies can one-shot you and which ones can't, and it just kind of seems like it's up to the flip of a coin, that feels a little stupid sometimes. And at number 7, searching forums and stuff, it seemed like players really hated this thing, even though it's kind of minor. It's the fact that there's no recipe book. Cooking stuff is pretty huge in Breath of the Wild, and it's almost like a fun, light little crafting mechanic, but it's a crafting mechanic where you're really given no recipes ever. You figure it out yourself, and then you just have to remember it for life. There are so many various and helpful recipes out there that you're gonna come up with once and then forget, and then never really remember to cook that one ever again. I think this does go along with the whole Breath of the Wild approach, where things are kind of hands-off, and it almost relies on you to write things down in real life, like how you can manually mark things on your map like it was a traditional map. But the lack of a recipe book with the ability to save your recipes has pissed off some people. But at number 6, speaking of pissing off people, it's that goddamn blood moon. The blood moon is not only terrifying, but it's a random instance where every once in a while the blood moon will rise at night and revive all enemies in the environment that you've previously killed. And they come back with a vengeance. The thing that players seem to definitely hate with the blood moon is, like rain, it always seems to happen at the worst possible opportunity. You could be in the middle of some heated base infiltration or taking down some big enemies, and then sure enough, right in the middle of that, of course, amidst all the chaos, the blood moon has to rise and show you that annoying cutscene that you have to skip, and then you're completely screwed. Good luck with that. While it's something that a lot of players hate, I will chalk it up to another thing that this Zelda does where it stacks all these things against you and really raises the difficulty. I like it, but it's annoying. And at number 5, speaking of getting your ass kicked, nothing is more annoying and just kind of more embarrassing when you get hit by a large enemy and you go flying. Maybe you get hit on a hill and then you fall down, and the new Zelda has the ragdoll physics that make you tumble down things. And if you get hit and knocked down even on something like the slightest slope, you will slide and tumble all the way down. It's always embarrassing and it's always annoying, and for some reason it always seems to happen to me when someone else is watching me play. You know, falling down a mountain is one thing because it's always hilarious, but when you're just on a big grassy hill and you get hit and then you're just sliding down the hill for a dumb and slow, awkward amount of time, if you're in the middle of things, it can really make your blood boil. And at number 4, it's more of an interface thing that people really seem to hate. It's the fact that you always have to open a menu to heal. You can't hotkey any elixirs or food items to any buttons or equipment to instantly heal yourself in the middle of battle. And like I've been saying, Breath of the Wild is a pretty challenging game. You're gonna be hit all the time. You're gonna be losing health constantly, which means you always have to pause the game, stop the action, and eat something. Because it's not quite that type of RPG type of thing. Zelda has always been a little bit more action-based, and it just feels weird to always pause menus. I saw a whole long thread on people hoping that Nintendo adds a hotkey fix to this, to make it easier to heal, but I don't think it's ever gonna happen. Sorry, guys. And at number 3, something that players hate because it's just another occurrence that happens all too often and it'll always piss you off and really set you back some progress. It's running out of stamina at the very end of your climb. But unfortunately, you timed it wrong and you're at the very, very top. You're almost there and then you lose stamina, slip, fall all the way down to your death. And it doesn't always amount to running out of stamina at a climb. It's maybe you're gliding too far and you run out of stamina during a glide. Then, of course, you lose your grip on the glider, you fall, maybe you land in water, but you have no stamina, so you instantly drown because Link is a dumb idiot who can't even stay afloat. That happens far too often. It's happened far too often to me and many other players, but I will say, if you're a good Breath of the Wild player, you should be prepared and have some stamina boosting elixirs and foods on you at all times to give you that extra little boost at the end. But still, it's a mistake that a lot of people can make. We're not gonna fault you for that, but next time you should be prepared if you're so angry at this. And at number 2, something that a lot of players definitely seem to hate is goddamn Eventide Island. If you haven't found it yet, don't worry about it. But if you did, you know this is a challenging as hell island, which it kind of exists in and of itself as an outdoor shrine. But Eventide Island basically puts you on an island and strips you of all your items, abilities, and weapons and clothing. And it's up to you to basically win this island filled with puzzles and hard enemies. Good luck. It's been the bane of many a player's existence just because it's so damn challenging. Me personally, I like a challenge. I think it's one of the best ways the game kind of flips things on its head and makes you think differently than you've been thinking the entire game. But it doesn't make it any less challenging and kind of annoying. Not to mention it's an island that you take it very slow on, and if you die, you have to start completely over. I think that's what really gets people. And at number 1, the thing we've seen players complain the absolute most about, but it's a very, very heated discussion, it's weapon durability. The weapon durability system, me personally, let me just get it out of the way, I completely hate it. I am on that side of the fence with it. I think it's an unnecessary feature. While a lot of things in this Zelda game go against regular Zelda conventions, it seems like weapon durability just pushes it a little too far. It seems like a system that exists just to exist. It exists just to hold you back. And I've seen so many players complain about it because they hate not having a trusty weapon at their side that doesn't last for more than one enemy. When you can't even kill an enemy with one weapon before breaking halfway through, you know weapon durability systems are kind of annoying. But on the flip side, to play devil's advocate, I've seen a lot of people rooting for it in the sense that it pushes you to use weapons outside your comfort zone, and you have to always kind of improvise and think on your feet. And I get that. I like that. But of course, this is a video about things Breath of the Wild players hate, and we've seen so many players hate on this system, so we had to bring it up. What we're looking forward to most, though, is hearing from you guys in the comments if you do hate weapon durability or not. Because I think that's a very heated discussion and debate that I would like to engage in, and I'll see you guys down in the comments. But if you have any other things you guys hate about Zelda Breath of the Wild, let us know down in the comments. Maybe you're loving this game, but you find one feature that drives you absolutely nuts. Let us know. If you had a good time with this video, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. We really appreciate it. And if you're new, subscribing is a good idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.